Hello, everyone. This is our weekly Subspace desktop meeting. It was a very rough week for us, but update-wise and changes-wise, it wasn't much. We were just trying to get it a next release stable. So here are the changes. Mm, let's start by the closed issues. We had one issue submitted by a user which says verification failed and initial plotting is stuck. This is the case for also the CLI, not only related to desktop. So it's been reported to monorepo as well. Nazar was already aware of it, and it's got fixed. And I mean, it's now way better than it was used to be on the monorepo side, and that's why we had another release. And the latest one for Subspace Desktop is at the moment 0.6.5. So please use that if you want to plot and sync with Subspace Desktop. So this issue should be at least improved. More nodes are syncing successfully to the network. And if there is an issue related to node, it's most probably related to monorepo, but there is also a slight chance it is related to desktop as well. So please report it maybe in here, maybe in monorepo. We will take care of that. Serge, I will pass it to you when I finish all the things, so you can also dive through the closed issues because 3 of them are
Sure.
related to you. That's why I'm not diving
Sure.
into them. Okay. For the open ones, not much change, not a new issue except for that, which Serge will cover. But I want to okay, give updates on this one particularly. So this was an issue of persisting the node name across restarts. Right now we accomplished that. And also there were some other small tasks related to that. For example, adding the feature of editing the node name by clicking on it. It was not completed last week. This week it is completed. However, this issue is not closed. Since there is still a thing to do, right now we are accomplishing this feature, like editing the node name as a workaround, not what it should have been actually. So now when you click the node name, it should restart the node, and we cannot solely restart the node. And as a workaround, we are relaunching the whole application, which doesn't hurt much for the user experience because it's like very fast. So that's why it's not a big deal. But ultimately, what we want is restart only the node and farmer and don't touch anything on the user interface. This is not yet accomplished. We will do it. That's why issue is remained open. It will be probably next week or something like that, because the issue we are facing in here, the problem we are facing here, may be related to something deep inside substrate, which will take time to debug. That's one of the possibilities. We are searching for that. Other than that, no new issues on my side, and we can dive into the pull requests. There is no open pull request. This is submitted by bot. It's just dependency update. It doesn't matter. For the closed ones, when I was away for this weekend, thankfully, Justin submitted this updates of the dependencies, and Ivan reviewed that, so we could update the Subspace desktop in the weekend as well. Thank you guys for that. Other than that, Nazar made a small touch again in the weekend, thanks to him. We updated the README. This is worth looking for. So we will dive into that. And this is again important one. I will leave this to Serge. And then lastly, I will not go into this, but will shortly explain what it's about. We were using the normal chain spec, not the raw chain spec from the monorepo. And after the runtime upgrade on the monorepo side, Subspace desktop was not able to correctly sync. So that's why the version 0.6.4 is not stable. We are now using the raw chain spec, and we released another version, which is 0.6.5, which is stable. Please use that again. And then I can show you guys the README changes. So the previous README was using old format. The name of the pages and the texts and options were different, and we updated that so our users shouldn't be confused anymore. And the identity support on the monorepo side is like no longer there. We thought that it's not a good idea to expose that much functionality, and that's why this got simpler on the desktop side as well. And last but not least, this is an important one. I will show you the screenshots. So now there are two new buttons. One of them is show logs. So when the user wants to view the logs, or when we want from user to please share your logs for the debugging purpose, instead of manually guiding the user to a specific place in File Explorer, now we have a button. When clicked, it will just open the File Explorer in the desired place so that you can access the log file. The red one is, of course, dangerous. That's why it's red. And it resets everything in the application. So it will reset the current sync status of the node. You will have to start from scratch. If you imported any reward address, you will have to redo that. Your farmer will start from also scratch, like everything. It will reset everything. And that's why we have an extra confirmation dialog in here. Like this will be read everything. You will have to start from beginning. Only do this if there is something wrong with the network or you import the wrong reward address. And also, when you click the Show Logs button, for macOS, at least it's working like that. It opens the file which contains it opens the folder which contains the log file. Any questions about any of this? I think no. Then I will hand it to Serge.
Okay, I assume you can see my screen. Yeah. So last week I was investigating these memory consumption issues that were created by Nazar, these two. And yeah, as I mentioned on Monday, I couldn't identify any issues in the current build. I double checked with Nazar, and I also asked Ivan to help me because Nazar is using Linux and Ivan is also using Linux, and those issues were like on Linux. So we concluded that probably this yeah, it's not relevant in the current build. It's definitely not a UI issue. So I closed this for now. And once, if anything happens, we will reopen these issues again and investigate. Apart from that, I created a new one. So this one is interesting. The problem, I could reproduce it when there is no connection. Like the UI application connects to the local node, but the local node cannot connect to the network, so it's not syncing. And when we query system sync state, we receive the highest block of null, which results in these not very user-friendly values, and also this one, null blocks. So unfortunately, there is no easy workaround for this. Like if we put 0 as a default value, it will not make sense. So I tagged Jeremiah because I think we need a separate UI for the for this kind of case when plotting fails or cannot like proceed as expected. We need to show something else, not this, like some error message, so the user is not confused. And also, I try to outline what are the other like similar states that are not properly handled in the application. And I created a diagram. I think I need to share another window. 1 second. Yeah, so I tried to outline what are the states that we have in the application. And here I mean like a global state. Of course, like separate individual components, they can have like local state, like for example, like menu drop down. So this is about the global state of the application. So when we first launch, we have this blank state. And so you can think of it as a finite state machine where you can have only one state at a time and you can transition between them. So from initial state, you transition to plotting. And from plotting, like if everything is okay, we go to the synced state. And then we show like the green icon, everything is good, you're farming blocks. So this is a happy path, which is currently implemented. But unfortunately, as we see with this issue, plotting can go wrong. And this is not handled at the moment. Also, when the node is fully synced, when the application is fully synced, it still can, like bad things still can happen. And we don't have a UI to handle that. So these two, I think they're kind of critical for user experience. And also when we relaunch, we have this UI connecting to the client while node is starting. In most cases, it starts and application launches, but that might not be the case 100% of time. So we also need like a state when node was not starting as expected. So yeah, if you have any thoughts on this, or I hope it makes sense.
Yeah, thank you very much. Like, I think it's great, and also till now we had a more smaller user base, and we always assumed everything will work fine, and that's why it worked fine. But our user base is growing, our protocol is getting more complicated, and I think we should address these error pages as well. I think this is the one of the most critical things to implement in desktop right now, like high priority.
Yeah. Okay, so this issue, and there was a small PR to enable, oh, actually, this is not the one. Yeah, it's PR by Ozgun, but I have added commit to enable edit node name, since it is already like handled on the backend. Yeah, but we only restart everything is new name is different from the previous name. So if you click, you type something, but then you change your mind and you still have your old name, we don't restart. So this is like minor addition. Yeah, apart from that, I was doing investigation on how we can integrate voting rewards as well as farming rewards. And yeah, I managed to configure, because currently we don't have it on the node. I managed to configure my local node to have them. And yeah, we can read events from Subspace blockchain and handle them. I just need like a mockups to implement them. This is what I'm waiting from Jeremiah. Yeah, that's all. Any questions?
Okay. Any questions in general before we stop the recording? That's also no. All right. Thanks for watching. See you guys next week. Bye bye.